Awesome. We are live, and I'm coming to you live from Germany in a hotel. So, I apologize for all the outside noises. I found this location mostly just in the nick of time because Dr. Dane here just started the Reset 2024, and we only just finished an hour ago. So the first call is free if you still get a chance to join. If you don't know what I'm talking about with the reset, we did a reset. Well, Dane launched a reset in October, November. 15 days for $15. And then there were a few extra goodies in there. So it's more like 17 or more days for $15. And we're resetting. I don't know if I would say again. Kind of like more. But that just knocked me out big time. That's kind of why my hair is flat on that side. And I haven't been that knocked out from anything he's done in a long time. So, like I said, I apologize for the background noise because I had to find a location to do this quickly. And I really don't like doing it in weird places, which is kind of funny because there are plenty of other things I like doing in weird places. This one, I'm like, no, I actually want to be hidden. So I do want to say I'm very grateful for all of you that are watching this show right now or anytime in the future. And any of you that have ever watched this show ever. Right now, I am in Germany, like I said, here just for the night with my son, Sebastian, and his mom, Uliana. We flew yesterday, overnight from Houston here to Frankfurt, and then tomorrow morning we head to Dubai, where I'll be doing a 3-day body class. And then next weekend, Grace Douglas will be doing an advanced body class. And I almost missed the words in my mouth because I just got a message from the Access Consciousness app. I got a notification, which I'm very excited about because there was a while there I wasn't getting notifications, and all of a sudden, now they're coming again. That's great. I love that app. I'm a little biased because I created it myself. So if you don't know about the Access Consciousness app, check it out. I think it's really amazing because, it's a really quick way to get some great information. Like, I sent a notification today reminding people or letting them know that the first call for the Great Reset of 2024 started today. So it's a great way to stay on top of things. You get notifications every time Simone releases a video, every time Dane releases a video, every time there's a new video about bars. You can change the notifications, you can turn them off. You can watch the clearing statement video, and there's also a number of videos in there that have a lot of translations. And coming soon, because Access Consciousness has a YouTube channel specifically created for multilingual videos, those videos will also be added to that app. We'll have our own super cool language section that a lot of you out there have been asking for a very long time, especially the Portuguese, because Brazilians are digging this app like crazy. Turkish people, you need to catch up. So Reset. Did you know about Reset 2024? That's today's topic. Because I also wanted to talk about, are you asking for more in 2024? For me, 2024 is the year of more. And if you want more, do this reset. You still have a chance to get on it. There's not another call tomorrow. Dane will be taking tomorrow off because he's traveling. He's smarter than I am. No, I actually miss this class most of the time because a lot of times on a Wednesday, I'm apparently on an airplane. That's just well, actually, to be honest with you, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the cheapest days typically to fly. That can change slightly, but for the most part. So at the same time, I like to do my classes on the weekends when other people have an easier time to show up, because a lot of times people, work during the week. So that's just how it ends up being. And that's a lot of times why these shows aren't exactly super consistent. Now, for those of you that are like, what are you talking about, bro? This is the most interesting news in the world from my interesting point of view. And what's special about interesting? Well, what is the most interesting news in the world to you? Has anyone ever asked you that question? What's the most interesting news in the world to you today, right now? Is it what news channels are giving you? Is it what other people tell you is really important? What other people tell you you should know about? What's the most interesting news in the world to you? To me, the most interesting news in the world is a lot of the Access Consciousness tools that are coming out, new tools, old tools that are slightly changing, maybe being used differently, and really just the change in energy and the change for possibility, the change in no longer choosing as much limitation as you used to be, and how we can get there and access it. So one of those ways is an Access Consciousness body class, a 3-day body class. Like I said, I have going on tomorrow. I announce it like this, but it's you would need some extra prerequisites to show up tomorrow. But Simone Milasas this weekend is also starting a Choice 4 Possibilities in Egypt. I believe it's going to be the first one ever facilitated in Egypt. Personally, I think that's amazing. I also just wish I was in Egypt. I love Egypt. Not that I've been there, but in this lifetime at least. But I love, I say I love Egypt because I want to see the pyramids. I love Egypt. I've never been there, but I love it. I just know I do. The whole thing of the Nile and papyrus. I feel like I sound really stupid right now. I probably do, because Dane just totally erased my brain. And I'm like, how do I talk to people? How do I do my show? I was like, I don't even want to do the show because I don't know how to show up. Wow. And so like I said earlier, I'm looking at making 2024 the year of more, asking for more. And wow, speaking of new tools, most interesting news in the world, boom, most interesting news in the world tool right here. Ha, new tool. For many, many years, I've been hearing Gary and Dane and Simone talking about having a bigger ask. And I was always like, my ask was broken. I would go to do having a bigger ask and be like, I guess that means a more expensive car or a bigger house, or I'm like, At the same time, I knew to ask energetically bigger, But either way, oddly enough, when I was laying, and I say laying because this is cool, I was about to be all not, I'm like, I was in first class, I was in business class flight. I've flown a lot more business class flights in the last year than all years previously combined. So that's been amazing. And because it's just way better. The food is better. The freaking stewardesses treat you so much better. Oh, I'm so grateful. And it's mostly been through awards and points and stuff. And talk about making 2024 a year for asking for more. I am ready to be making enough money to pay for a business class flight. I like that. That feels so good. I don't want to like sit there and wish and hope and oh my god, I hope I get business class this flight. No, I want to be like, I'm paying for it. Boom, boom, done. I'm picking the fuck. This is the seat I want on the airplane. Oh yeah, and just because so if you've never flown first class, I totally understand. Prior to ever flying business class or first class, I was like, what do I need that for? It's dumb. It looks so expensive. Why would I ever spend that much money? What if money didn't matter? And besides the what if money didn't matter, it's like, I can't even say it because I can't necessarily even put a value on the difference of how you just get treated. Like, I previously to flying first class, I was like, wow, people, they just, stewardesses, yeah, they always treat me pretty good. And then when I flew first class, I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know you could get treated like this, period. Whoa. Man, this is cool. And that's like maybe 5 years ago, probably the first time I ever flew first class. And now this year, I'm like, taking off, baby. So 2024, year of more. It's like a lot more living in the first class lifestyle. Not, which can include sitting on the floor in a public area of a hotel room. Of a hotel. Why not? Nothing wrong with it. And the better food. Oh my God. And the champagne. Oh, I had Chablis on the flight. And I realized I kept ordering Chablis. I was like, I'll have Chablis. And they would come back and be like, you'll have the champagne. Once again, sorry for bothering. That way. Yeah. There we go. We'll just wait for the noise to pass. Let the noise go down the hall. So I'm ordering Chablis. Every time I order Chablis, they think I'm ordering champagne. They come back, champagne? And I was like, how is it that they think Chablis champagne? Is it like the name is similar? And I was like, and it took me a long time to realize, I'm dealing with Americans. Not very Americans know Chablis. I once was an American that also did not know what Chablis was. Then I lived in Australia. While I was in Australia, I found out what Chablis was. If you do not know what Chablis is, trust me, you'll want to find out what Chablis is because it is delicious. It's a white wine, French, amazing. Maybe there's Chablis from other places, but from France, get it from France. So good. So, drinking the Chablis, because multiple stewardesses on the flight were like, champagne? And I was like, what the hell is going on? Because I need to like name it different. Because I've been the same way. Prior to being, putting myself out there a little bit more in the wine world, I would look at a wine on a list and I would be like, what does any of that mean? That does not make it, what? And people would be like, I will have this. And I'm like, which one is that? Oh, it's this one over here. Because there's 10 words and only one of them means the grape. And that's kind of where you might order from, depending on your list, unless there are like 5 Chablis on the list, and then you might say Chablis and the name. I actually still do not consider me a Sémillon by any means. If you're like, what the fuck is a Sémillon? Google it. It might be hard to Google if you don't know how to spell Sémillon, because it is a French word, and French, they don't really use a lot of the letters that get written down, or they write a lot of letters down that aren't used, depending on how you look at it. Which brings me to another odd tidbit. You know what? I'm just going to turn today into, I'm just going to ramble. I'm going to ramble. There is if you've ever been to France, something like that, Monaco. Monaco? Yeah, Monaco, not Morocco, Monaco. What the heck is Monaco? It's a pretty famous place. You've probably heard of it. If you're like me, prior to going to Monaco, I had no idea where it was, what it was, anything about it. It's actually its own tiny little country, itty bitty bitty tiny little country in France on the Mediterranean Sea. And I mean, there's a Formula One race there. Totally want to go see a Formula One race there. Why? I think I do. I mean, maybe halfway through the race, it's like, all right, I'm done. Or maybe after 30 minutes, it's like, okay, get me out of here. I'm not sure. I just like the idea of Formula One there in the middle of a city. And it's wholly inside of France. Now, me, if you do not know about me, my previous life, I was a civil engineer. And so when I go to new cities, a lot of times, especially big cities, and depending on their location, one of my biggest questions is, where do they get their water? A lot of you might not ask this question. Most people do not ask this question. And it's kind of an important question because it's actually extremely important. It can give you a lot of, I would say, let's do this. Why is it extremely important? Well, how to put this politically, not necessarily correct, but not totally discorrect. Well, let's take Monaco, for instance. Does Monaco make its own water? A little bit. I think last I read, they are actually building their own water treatment plant, like a reverse osmosis desalination plant, so that they may not need to use French water. But for the most part, as of a few years ago, they were still receiving all of their drinking water. Anytime you took a shower, any bit of water you drank, anytime you flushed the toilet, all that water was coming from France. Now, you're like, well, Connor, why does that matter? Well, even though you're your own country, if you are wholly in France and you get all of your water from France, what kind of political ties might there be? Is a good question. Now, I bring up that question while at the same time looking at, you'd go, you could look at like me and my son. Where does my son get any of his water? Where does he get any of his food? Where does he get anything he needs? He gets it from me and his mother. And in this is the weirdest conversation. In this conversation of water and where cities get their water from, I didn't necessarily mean to go in this direction of like control, but that's where I always used to look at it. And it's funny because now you could say, like, who's more in control? Me giving the water to my son or his mother giving him water and milk and food, or him. But he's the most in control of this whole relationship. So what have you decided gives you control over others, and what have you decided that gives others control over you? Everything that is for all of you, times a godzillion, will you destroy it, uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad. Pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds. I was really kind of just talking about the water conversation. I don't know. Again, I got totally, this is me doing ADD, ADHD, and autism all rolled in one. I know, I'm stealing that saying from Dane. It's a good saying. And I guess I just figured I'll just like let myself be it more now. Oh, that's better. That feels great. Rather than being like, I need to speak so that people can understand and stuff. But to say a little bit more about the water thing, you can find out a lot about a city based on water. Like the largest cities in the world, especially the old ones, they all have like really, really good water sources. New cities, what do I mean new cities? Dubai, Houston, where I live now, is a pretty new city. They have a lot of desalination plants, and not in the same way that you'd think. A lot of times a desalination plant is for pulling water out of the ocean or the sea and using reverse osmosis to separate the water from the salt. But this is actually separating water from the salt for groundwater, Houston. So it's just not very tasty water. But like Istanbul has phenomenal water sources. New York, phenomenal water sources. I lived in Boston. Boston itself, pretty good water sources, but right next to it, Cambridge, Massachusetts, great water sources. And the water is delicious. And I mean, in this day and age, it's different because technology has really allowed cities to grow that don't have a conventional water source, if that makes sense. What do I mean by conventional? I mean a river or a lake or the combination of the two. Because the largest cities that are like old cities, like New York, and I realize that for the rest of the world, New York is not an old city, but part of the reason New York was able to grow so much can be contributed to the fact that they were able to get really great water source coming into that city, into Manhattan. Because I looked at Manhattan, where the hell did they get all that water? That's a lot of people. And it's like an island, basically. Where does the water come from? That's basically what I do. I go to places and where the hell does the water come from for all of these things? So that's a little bit of a picture into my brain. And then I also start thinking about all the other stuff. Like, where does this come from? Where does that come from? Where does this come from? Where does that come from? And it can give you a sense of a lot of things that go on in the world. What the hell does that have to do with anything? In fact, best thing I can tell you to do with anything, any bit of information you ever gain from anyone, anywhere, interesting point of view. They have that point of view. And that's interesting. So, like I said, I used to try to come to a point of view like, oh, well, if this city gets its water from here, that means this, or this means this, or blah, 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 blah. Rather than just going, that's interesting. So, this is one of the longest shows I've done yet, and I'm going to call it quits for today. Thank you all for showing up to the weirdest show I have done yet Welcome to 2024. I'll have more. And if you would like more too, I'm going to tell you again, join the reset with Dr. Dane here. 10 calls, a little bit more than 10. Go, just Google reset 2024 with Dr. Dane here. All right, everyone, this is Connor Hill. This is the most interesting news in the world. And if you don't like it, that's an interesting point of view. But you can always email me, Connor at ConnorJHill, if there is some interesting news that you would like to hear more about. Until next time, every Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Istanbul time, when I can be here live, I'm here. Thanks, everyone. See you next time on the most interesting news in the world.